Welcome to Marriage Matters, and today we're going to talk about if you want to survive, keep passion alive. Now, before we unpack that, I'd like to at least share with you a little bit of our experience. We've been married 61 years, a little over that, and the first 28 years we had children, 4 children.
Three teenagers at one time.
Yeah, 3 teenagers. And so if you don't have a good foundation early in your marriage, I mean, there are all kind of things that go on with 4 kids in the house and the challenges of raising them and helping them with the school and all of that. It pulls on your relationship if you let it. You know, the wife can be so overly involved with the children that she neglects her husband. The husband get too busy with his work and doesn't get involved with the kids, and etc. And then we've had 33 years, just a couple again. And we've discovered that the first 28 years, we laid a foundation that when the kids were gone, we were still just a happy couple, like we have worked at it. And so, anyway, we want to talk about that today. How do you do that? How can that happen? And we're just going to share some principles that have worked for us. We think they'll work for you, but you've got to make it work, okay?
So, and this is our experience, as he said, with our personalities. Yours will be different, but the principles are the same. And we're going to use the word passion as an acrostic. Now, the word passion means a powerful emotion, fiery intensity, an enthusiastic devotion for your relationship. And it can mean in a sexual relationship, but this is about passion for you, for your relationship. And
it's a burning desire to have a good relationship with your husband, with your wife.
That will last 60, 70 years.
As long as you're together, yeah.
So the first word for P.
Yeah, we're going to do an acrostic, Passion, so bear with us. And the first one has to do with priority. Making your marriage, your relationship, a priority.
The most important thing, something deserving of special attention or action before anything else. I love the verse in Deuteronomy 24:5. I think it's a fun verse for marriage seminars. If a man has recently married, he must not be sent off to war or have any duty laid on him. For 1 year, he's to be free at home, to stay at home and bring happiness to the wife he has married.
Wow, I mean that.
Wouldn't that be great?
It'd be great if we could do that. Of course, we live in a different culture and a different time frame. But what the Bible is saying is, make your marriage a priority. Spend that first year getting to know each other, really working at a solid foundation for your relationship. Sometimes we do that in the dating period, obviously, but in that culture, sometimes they married without even knowing each other. So that first year was critical. But you've got to make your relationship a priority. That's one of the things we really want to share with you.
We have shared in the past a video that the average in love phase of a relationship, you know, when you're young and in love and you get married and you're so in love, it lasts about 2 years. So we want to share these principles that will make your passion still be alive after 60 years.
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously there are critical points in the marriage. It could be 2 years, 5 years, 15, you know, there are all kinds of...
Or when the children are gone, too.
Yeah, fraction points in a marriage. But we want to be able to help you minimize those tension areas and build a strong relationship so that you can weather the storms that's going to come.
So, in thinking about priority, I called two friends this week who both had recently lost their husbands and asked them, they had good marriages, sweet marriages, and I asked them what did they do in their marriages to prioritize their relationship. And this is from Cindy. She was married to Ed. It would have been 46 years this past Monday. And she had a hard time with that anniversary, but he passed this past summer. And she wrote, "We always tried to spend time together, just the two of us, even when the kids were small, and they had three. And we didn't have a lot of money to spend after we paid the babysitter. Maybe we just went to McDonald's to get a burger, and we spent the time talking. It was something simple, but it helped to keep that connection of prioritizing their relationship." And the A is for affection,
Admiration.
and affirmation.
Yeah.
And all those, we've studied some of those in love languages from the love language book we've studied. But to keep passion alive, you need to make sure you have these 3 A's in your marriage relationship. We all need affection, admiration, and affirmation. Tom, read this from this.
Barb found this in a magazine on an airplane. We were traveling one time, and it's from U.S. Air magazine, October of '92. It said, "Affectionate touching is one of the most critical elements of a strong, healthy marriage, and it is also one of the easiest to neglect. Regular, sincere, non-sexual affection helps to maintain the emotional closeness needed in a marriage." And that's so true. You've got to stay connected with each other.
So my other friend that I wrote was Brenda. She lost her husband in the fall of 2023. They would have been married 60 years that next year. And she wrote, "The first thing that pops into my mind when I think we both try to put the other person's needs first, more than our own. So many times I know I wanted to do things and I'm not sure he wanted to do them, or he probably hadn't any interest in them, but he would always do whatever it was because he knew it would make me happy. And I tried to do the same for him. We touched a lot, not sexually, here, but just to be close to each other and to feel them near. As I look back at so many pictures through the years, we were always touching in some ways, holding hands and walking arm in arm, just leaning against him, or just sitting or standing with our bodies touching. We could finish each other's sentences. We always liked the same thing, usually, whether it was food, furniture, cars, movies. I do not like the same movies Tom does. I felt like we were just so in sync. If I was sick or sad, he was always there to take me in his arms and care for me and make me feel safe and loved. And I tried to do the same for him." I told Brendan it sounded a lot like I could write for Tom, with Tom. And so that's affection. Well, I lost a page. Affection? Yeah, just a minute.
Admiration, she's talking about that.
Yeah, it's admiration right now. Men need to be admired. And I tell Tom all the time how strong he is, how handsome he is, and I was his biggest fan. It's the feeling that I had a wonder for him, and that's an admiration. And a woman, one of her basic needs is affection, and
well, not affection in the sense of just touching, holding. There are times when Barb just wants me to hold her, and it's an intimate touching, but it's not a sexual moment. I guess it could be, but it's just more of letting her know that I'm here, I love you, I care for you, and I'm affirming her, and that's important.
Willard Harley, in his book, His Needs, Her Needs, says a woman's number one need, not a language, but her need is for affection. Women just need affection. And so that's the A in there. A man needs the physical affirmation. And that tells him he's loved. It does much for his confidence as a man. Your man needs admiration and affirmation as much as you need affection. If you don't tell him how wonderful he is, somebody else will. And he delights in hearing those words from you.
Well, that's a danger in a relationship if the wife is not meeting that need in his life, and someone else steps up and starts bragging on him, telling him how wonderful he is. Then, he starts listening to that and not hearing his wife anymore. It's just a wise woman will affirm and build up her husband.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next letter is S. There are two S's in passion. And the first one we'll talk about is study. Study
your mate. Get to know each other at a deeper level than just surface stuff, And it takes time. You have to be open with each other and share your heart. I guess S could stand for share as well. But to study one another, to know who she is. And I've done that. We've done this together. We use personality profile to help with that sometimes. But you can do it without a personality test. You could just know who she is by how she relates to things she likes or doesn't like. After a while, you figure all that out.
Well, you need to read and study, whether it's magazines or now there are podcasts, so many resources available. The other videos, we've talked about the love languages, how we speak to one another, how we hear you say, I love you. So that's Gary Chapman's book, His Needs, Her, no, 5 Love Languages. His Needs, Her Needs is by Willard Harley. And he says you can affair-proof your marriage if you just know how to meet the needs of your spouse. And there's so many books nowadays and resources available. And it takes time. And it doesn't just happen. It takes a lifetime. Sometimes I think Tom and I are where we are today. I mean, we have a good time. We enjoy each other. But it's because we've spent the last
60 years
studying each other,
working at building a strong relationship with each other.
And you have to do this to keep the passion alive. That's what we're talking about. Keep passion alive. And so the next S is my favorite S here, spontaneity or spontaneous.
Yeah, there's such a thing as spontaneous combustion, where you just set on fire, We try to keep our marriage spontaneous, keep the fire going, keep life exciting, and do things. You don't have to do the same routine every day. We'd get bored doing that. We're both pretty spontaneous. Now, Barb's much more than I am, but I have a little spark every now and then, so.
Well, spontaneous is acting on impulse,
Yeah.
not planning, doing what feels good right then. Sometimes I tell Tom, oh, honey, let's do something wild and zany. Well, that could be anything. And we know you must plan. I mean, you plan your meals, you plan your vacations, you plan a budget. So there's all kinds of planning, but it's nice. Spontaneity is good.
Well, you can be spontaneous in your plans. Once you get them established, then do something different.
Just do something different. We shared in one of the stories of Gary Chapman's book about a couple. They'd been married 33 years and had never changed their routine in any way. That you need to at least, to keep passion alive, to keep things building, you need to be a little spontaneous. Send a card to his work or he to her work, send flowers, and not on her birthday, just any day, just a different day. Put notes in his underwear when he travels on a business trip. Just be creative in the things that speak to him or speak to her, that that ways that are unique to you. Walk in the rain under an umbrella.
Barb likes that because that was our first date on a college campus. It was a rainy day, and we had to walk together under an umbrella. And you got to get pretty close to get under an umbrella. So
yeah, but then I was really careful not to touch him.
I know she was not very spontaneous
at that point. No, jump in the shower with him. Just make love in a different place, in a different way. There are just all kinds of ways to be spontaneous. Still kisses everywhere. And I heard a story of a pastor. Well, a pastor was telling me about this pastor that had told him that one night, that week, one of them had said to the other, the wife had said to him or he to her, let's go get ice cream. It was midnight. They had never done anything that was spontaneous. But they did. They went and got ice cream at midnight. And he told this other pastor that said that one spontaneous act did more for our sex life than anything had done in years. So you just don't know what doing something spontaneous.
It just kind of unlocks your emotions, I guess. Yeah. A spontaneous act.
But my other one of our favorite things we do is this routine.
Role play.
Role play. Yeah. Is your husband at home? That's what we call it.
Well, I came home once a number of years ago for lunch, and I must have parked the car in front of the house, so I went to the front door, and it was locked, and I probably left the keys in the car, so I rang the doorbell, and Barb came to the door, and just in my mind, I just thought, I asked her, as she opened the door, is your husband home? And she picked it up from there, and we did a role play, and I pretended to be a salesman, and I needed to come in and show her this product or whatever. And, I told her how beautiful she was and what a lucky man she had and all that.
And we probably ended up in the bedroom on his lunch hour that time.
Yeah.
But that didn't always happen because we've played this, we have run with this, we have laughed and had more fun. Just Saturday, day before yesterday, he was working out here in the yard, and he had his knee pads on, and his gloves were dirty. But he knocked on the door. He rang the doorbell, and so when I answered it,
I said,
I said, who are you?
And I'm the gardener, and is your husband at home? And the implication is he's not at home, and so we can have an affair or whatever, conversation. But it's okay with your wife or your husband to do a role play like this. We've done marriage seminars and had couples do role play in the seminar, and they love it. So anyway,
we were doing one in Baltimore, Maryland, and it was on the beach, and we had shared this. And they didn't come back to the afternoon session. They said we were spontaneous. We played that, and they said we had a ball. So it's just something we've done, and it might not be for you, but just try something spontaneous, something to
break the routine.
Yeah, or not to keep you guessing. I don't guess that Tom loves me, but I don't know. It's just be spontaneous in whatever to keep that spark alive. And then there's the I, intimacy.
I don't know if this is original with me. I don't remember reading it anywhere, but I have a definition of intimacy is into me see. Intimacy. And I think that is what intimacy is. It's being open. I've got to be open and allow her to see into my inner person. And she has to do the same.
And Tom It was easier for Tom. I'm not sure why. Maybe from my family background. It was not easy for me to share at first. He had to teach me how to share my heart. That was hard to do. So sometimes one of you may have to help the other, but you do it with ways like, this is how I feel, or this happened at work today and it made me feel this way. And so you have to learn to share your feelings, and as you talk and share and cry together, and express your feelings. Now some people are not feelers, but
Well, Barb's a feeler. I think you probably figured that one out. And I have feelings, obviously, but I tend to be more of a thinker than a feeler. And so we've got a thinker here and a feeler here.
yeah, but I'm a thinker.
And so we have to learn how to communicate feelings and thinking and open up, and she'll ask me, well, how do you feel about that? Or I might ask her that, and or what are you thinking about? And she asked me that a lot. So
newlyweds, you can start this, because you probably talk and share a lot, but to share your feelings about your day, your work, your loneliness if he's gone to work, and your news, just all kinds of things. But learn to share your feelings, and that's how you grow together emotionally. That's how you become one into heart. Sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with the thought of the intimacy of a relationship. It's just no, there's no relationship like ours. It's so unique to us, and yours is that way to you, but you have to grow into that and develop that intimacy. Charlie Shedd, he was a minister, a Presbyterian minister in the 70s, and he wrote, "It is a wise woman who knows that every man is equipped, both body and soul, with a subconscious radar which seeks some place to let him go, to let himself go." And you want that to be in your heart. In your
every
thought.
man needs a place, a secret place to share his heart. And a lot of guys can't do that, and or at least they don't do it. They could probably if they would, but it takes some energy and effort to open up and be intimate with each other and share your feelings, your deepest emotions, your dreams, your hopes, and all of those things. And when you do, your lives come together, and that's what's so important.
And it's not always easy. That's why personality studies and books help, because we all bring some kind of baggage into a marriage. It's just who we are. We're human. The abuse I brought into into our marriage, and everybody has something they bring into. So you have to share those feelings, work through those together. That's how you become one. And so it's a wise woman who knows how to bring that out in her man. And I think a man has to learn how to bring that out, like you did me, right?
Yeah. So PASSIO. Online. Stay online. Stay connected with each other. This is kind of a computer age word, I guess. But you've got to be online with each other 24 hours a day. I know when you're asleep you can't, but you stay connected.
Yes, as Cindy said in that, they took time just to talk and be connected, and prioritize your relationship. Guard it. Guard your relationship selfishly. That's okay. And but you stay online. Stay connected. So never ever let your marriage become stagnant. I mean, there are times things happen, and so you work through those. But a marriage relationship is a growing, living organism. It just because it keeps on going, right?
Yeah. Well, the opposite of online is offline, which implies that I'm disconnected from you, and I've got my own thoughts over here, and I can do what I want to in my world without you. And that's dangerous in a marriage relationship. So stay connected, and it'll be a great help to your relationship.
There's a miracle in, I wouldn't say in every moment, but there are miracles in the little moments of a marriage. The looks over the children's faces, at a table, they've spilled their milk, and but you're connected in that emergency, and the touches, always the touches. Any little thing that helps keep passion alive, even in the bad moments, you work through those. In the end, now.
Now, in the now.
Now.
This is the now. You can't, obviously it's good to think about yesterday, what we did last year, whatever, but you can't live there, and you can't live in the future. You have to live in the present, in the now. And that's just crucial to a relationship, whether it's a marriage or work or whatever. You got to stay in the present tense.
Right. I have a blog. It's called A Journey to Now, because we're always
in the moment.
In the moment. You're always in the now. So, and that's a good place to live. It's a good place to have your marriage be. And there are 4 areas of now, really. Intellectually, you need to stay
fresh. Keep reading.
Studying.
You don't have to read books about marriage all the time, but if you're intellectually stimulated, I like to read science books.
He reads.
And then we can have a conversation about that. She likes to read diet books and medical stuff.
Not diet.
Well, you do. You
Healthy
listen
eating. Healthy eating.
Healthy eating. That's why we look 25, right?
So another area now is sexually. Try just always keep the spark alive. You learn new ways for the now, new ways, new places. It's those are good things. Physically, for the now, keep your body in shape.
Yeah, it's important. I think one of the important things for a man is an attractive spouse. And certainly that goes the other way too. And we have both worked at, goodness, I'm 80 years old. So you can only stay attractive so long, I guess.
No.
But we work at it, try to keep our weight under control and keep our physical bodies in shape and keep our mind sharp. And that's just part of a ongoing relationship.
Right. And the last part, emotionally, as you share your feelings of today, your thoughts, your dreams, your goals, as you stay in touch with those with each other. Tom and I, we still dream like we're 40. 40.
We still have plans as if we were 40.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
And
we still plant trees.
That's how we live our life. We don't think in terms of shutting down. We're still thinking in terms of growing and developing and moving forward into the future. And I don't know how many years we have left together, but we're just living them day at a time in the now. And we hope you'll do that as well. And it's always a joy to share with you by video. Okay?
But in summing up, passion, to keep your passion alive. These are some principles that will help. So we hope we've shared a little bit about ways so your marriage will never be stagnant. It will always be. I heard once that a woman that is loved has a glow about her. People pick up on that. I think a man that is loved, knows he's loved, is he walks so confidently, and you can just see that in him. So love is powerful. Keeping that spark alive is so important, and we just hope what we've said today might help in some way.
Okay. Well, we want to sign off now, and we wish you the best in your journey. And as we continue ours, perhaps more to come soon.